When I was growing up, I didn't believe that art was for me. Life round these parts didn't care for poetry. It never felt close or real. On the telly, no one spoke like me. On the stage, no one walked like me. And on the page, no one woke me. But I was a dandelion. I grew harsh but strong, still capable of letting the light in. And just like an old photograph, I developed from negatives, and in a flash, captured the moment. How he's getting on? I'm Lewis Kenny. I'm a poet based in Dublin, and I am here to say some poems courtesy of Meath Library and Meath County Council, as part of the National Poetry Day. And now, as part of my work, I suppose the themes that I'd write a lot along are the environment, I suppose, that I grew up in, was subjected to, a sense of community, and I suppose a sense of family, as a family belonging as well. So they would be the three main themes, I suppose, along the works, and those are the main themes of the poems that I'll be reading for you today. The first one you heard was called Culture Connects, which is a poem commissioned by Poetry Ireland for their RTE Poem of the Week series. The next one I'll read you is called Saturn Returns, and I suppose it's about the last year of my life, which has been I suppose a very big one for a lot of people. For me, it's felt, I suppose, a bit of an awakening, a great sense of maturity, but also the weight of the burden of knowing the mistakes that you've made in your past. So it's called Saturn Returns. They say a man is made in his 28th year, and though I feel the age and learned wisdom by open locks of canals and the whip of willow and ash, I fear the state of being in that no man's land, between insomnolence and dream, to come to face with all I've done wrong, with those I've hurt, bandying words such as mine empty. They say a man is made in his beliefs, but belief for me has been an abdication of ownership, a confession of being free to sin again. And as Saturn returns into Aquarius, forgiveness may never be obtained, but I can make promises to only hurt myself. So that was Saturn Returns. The next one probably would have been one of the first poems ever written, and it's called Cabaret, and it's just about, I suppose, growing up in the area that I grew up in. Is it worth it? This life I'm in, is it worth it? Is it worth all the nightly bitter fights, the brightly pulsing lights, mendless strifes, endless strife, all for the suffrage just to belong? To be like that gentle wind, casually blow in, subside, try to survive? Or is it better to be dead than not feel alive? See, so I remember the days when the cracking allure of urban Dublin's poor promiscuous grandeur used to be a smooth cure to the contour of my mouth. Should a secure beat of this concrete jungle echo through the streets the sweet sounds of song and laughter? An uplifting treat to complete the fleeting restoration of my worn out mind, hands and feet. I remember the days of competitive games of pats, the chat of who's dad would bay who's dad. Ma, what's for dinner? Big bowl of stew, son, or a bag of chips. You'll be brand new after this. A real winner. I remember the war chants at Dalymount Park, or the ferocious fiery bark of Finn bars that gave stark roaring testament to a unison that can never be ruined, you see. We buzzed off the high of this immunity, a beautifully crafted sense of immortal impunity, left to run wild as it flowed through the blood of every man, woman and child in this glorious gentrified inner city community. But now it somberly echoes the language of the lay. The broken hearted, the sick and mad, and the best of the bride who went just a little too far astray. Sometimes shores apart looking for that fresh start, but to tell you the truth, to some of my closest friends in youth have now become just driftwood slowly burning in the ashtray. And I'm burning too. This fire burns so brightly. It's a signal for all to see. As we're drowning in the cold deep sea of our own misery, we're doled out our weekly sympathies, a weak toast to the death of a limited liberty taken bitterly. But we take it. We take it, and it tastes so bittersweetly. I've conceded defeat. I've wasted opportunity. I'm left here to wonder what happened to my community. So that was my poem Cabaret. Next one. The next piece I've written was a commissioned work. Again, it was commissioned for a documentary that my friend Aoife had made on, I suppose, traditional music in Ireland, the traditional culture, its sense of community, and I suppose the imprint that it's left, I suppose, in the cultural fabric of Irish society, and I suppose kind of how Irish people have been viewed worldwide. But also a little bit of a deeper dive into it. And this is it. There's a session on in the local tonight, and now it's trad, and the place is hopping. From Carrick to Cobblestone, this place is home to all. Weldon, Cheevers, Joseph, Margaret, Flynn, Planksty, some Amadons, and all the O'Canavons, coming the Bon and Christy and Big John are even given a song or two. And now there's no love lost with Landless. Gleeson are lynched in a blackout cap and vest, and the skippers out causing trouble in the alleys with the best, and all the rest who are there tonight, with the whiskies flowing and the women chasing and the Beamish on tap sublime. And in walks Rady P. Ash'll give the whore a glass of wine. For up and down the stairs they come, the bartenders are the regular band to bait, and the heavily bowround beater who looks up in the sky with blue eyes and a beard, and the pipes are calling, and it's all falling into the beat, and everything is going to the beat. It's the beat generation, it's the beat in the heart, it's the beat to keep, the beat of the bowround, the heart and the beat, and the being beat down in the world, and like old time low down, and like in ancient civilizations, the slave boatman rowing galleys to a beat, and servants spinning pottery to a beat, and from the womb it's given to us, for even from the start we follow the beat and stay in tune. We slip and jig like a concertina movement. It's an inclination. It is the only thing serious in this world, and we are the only people never serious. It's a reawakening. To be born we must first cultivate. A scene for those who wish to sing will always find a song, but you've got to move fast to keep up with the times. Out with the old, but never the soul, for the more that's found, even more is lost. So put music to your troubles and dance them away, and forget the cost. For when we dance we'll know the way, and when we're shown the way we'll dance and we'll sing, and when one is lost we'll mourn a king. Those proud bearers we sing in order to raise their spirits. A whistle tune or a couple of stanzas are all we need to dispel gloom, for it's the same carefree feeling. Even if the song were sad and the music was in their bones, it just had to come out. For beating hearts of the one tribe unite. So that's what it's all about. And then for my final poem, probably something a little bit more personal. It's definitely one of my favourite poems that I think I've written. This is a poem I suppose I wrote as a, I wouldn't really call it a tribute to me. I wouldn't really call it a tribute, but it was a realization, I suppose, of kind of like, you know, a mother being, I suppose, kind of more than a mother. And this is, I suppose, kind of, yeah, this is just like a poem that I wrote for her. It's called May. I hugged my mother today for the first time in God knows how long, just to show her that her son still cared and loved her, you know. She broke down in my arms and cried that she didn't even know what was wrong, and looked to the sky, but even now the very heavens had now turned a blind eye to her mental anguish. So I later wondered, why was she sad? Why was she crying? What was to blame? Was I living with the shame, a slave in a 54-hour-a-week shift, just to come home and sift her way to the couch to drift off watching her soaps, which, Instead of giving her a much needed lift, it now become the dope that suppresses her inner screams. It's just sadly now the only time of the day she spends chasing her hopes and in her dreams. Is it the wasting of a life that was promised to be fulfilling and happy by a man who has since long forgotten all that they had once shared in common in what has now just become mere memory of a past life? The distant acquaintances, the husband and the wife. But then I thought, could I be the guilty one? I mean, if I failed my job as a son. See, because for all the things she asked of me that I could have, would have, should have done, but then didn't do, even though I knew that she just wanted to have a chat over a cup of tea as we sat at the ever available, emotionally unstable table to discuss a frequency Queen Mab of times ever mable, but I never put in the distance run. Nah, for even Mab had now began to run late for not one of us borrowed time for her. Not my sisters, not my brothers, not even our one true love. Her soulmate. So listen, I beg you, just embrace her. Embrace her now and remind her that she is not an entity that is here just to serve her existence, but a person that deserves a life, that's not hers to steal or unlawfully conceal from this world of which she rightly warrants. Embrace her. Embrace her now, for she is strong, but gentle. She is both argumentative and fair, but is susceptible to the negative other that can send a soul into disrepair. So I say to you, please just embrace her. Hold her now, hold her close like no other. For she is only given one heart, and we are only given one mother. Thanks very much, guys, for tuning in, and go to Míle again to me library and me County Council for putting this all together for our National Poetry Day. Appreciate you tuning in, and I hope you have a lovely summer.